We'll be an aisle back.
Got all three. Josh, we're waiting for one person.
So we will call to order our regular meeting. It is Monday, September 8th, and it is 7:02 p.m. We are calling to order our regular session for the Oregon City School District. And I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone joining us this evening. First on our agenda is Focus on Students and Community. We have a presentation from our JROTC crew. Thank you so much. Please come to the table and make sure that the light turns bright green before you start.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having us again this evening and Focus on Students. I brought with me 3 cadets that traveled with us in June of last year with a junior ROTC group, total of 19, and we went to Normandy, France for D-Day ceremonies. So I'm going to have them talk a little bit about the impact of their experience. And my name is Major Doug Thomas. I'm the senior Army instructor at the program at the high school, and Rob Aguilar, he's the other instructor that runs the program with me.
Fantastic. You guys are welcome to bring more chairs up if you want, or if you want to stand, whatever makes you most comfortable. You're first, yeah. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Grant Goots. I am 17 years old and I'm a LET 4, which means I've been in JROTC all 4 years of my high school experience. And we're just here talking about the parade. And the parade was fairly short. We knew it was going to be short beforehand, but actually experiencing it firsthand, I feel like the adrenaline kind of pushed us up a little bit, and it just kind of went a lot faster than it felt like it would have been. We also each of us learned a cadence, which is kind of when we march, it's just good to keep us on step and we get to really show how we can say things. Sorry. But we also, when we were marching, we had a saber detail that we brought, but sadly we didn't get to use them. But we still did get to go in the parade, and it was super fun for all of us.
I'm Jacob Eichmeyer. I'm a LET 4-2, and I'm the Command Sergeant Major for our battalion. I'm talking about the Eiffel Tower, Palace of Versailles grad ceremony, where basically I got to be with my friends, and I got to go overseas for the first time. It was his first time on a plane, which was a very unique experience. It was getting to go with all my peers that I grew up with and being able to go on a trip with just my friends, doing something I never thought I would be able to do, never imagined doing when I first joined JROTC. and I thought it was a really cool experience, and I'm really glad I got to go. I'm really glad for the opportunity, and thank you.
Yeah, like he said, it was my first time being in a plane, which was obviously a little bit scary, especially being one going to France from Oregon. So it was definitely something for me. And actually being in the program with these people that I've been able to grow 4 years at minimum with throughout my life, and being able to go to this trip was super exciting. And especially because I don't come from much, if I'm being honest. And I had a lot of help through other outside sources other than myself. And it was super nice, and it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me especially, and I never would have been able to gone without these helps and resources that Major Thomas and the JROTC had helped me find. And I'm just really glad to have been able to do it in general. So, thank you.
Is that you?
I can talk. So this wasn't in the agenda, but we got to go to the La Com German Military Cemetery, and it was because of a presentation I did about my relatives that were on the German side, and it was a really cool place. We didn't know about it. The bus driver did, and it was kind of on the path to where we had to go. So we stopped by. We took a few pictures there. There's a big rock with sculpture carved with it. And in the top picture, and middle one, there's like a grotto the Germans gave as a gift, like all the trees, as kind of a recompensation for them having the land for a few years. And then another thing was the castle on the bottom. I thought that was really unique. I didn't know we actually had that on the agenda. So when we first saw it, everyone was looking out of the window. Bus was like heavy on one side. It was really cool. And I was just also really thankful to go with my friends. And I think they have stuff to say.
So, being actually in the castle, it was very cool to see. Because when we were going up to it, we were driving, and I didn't think we were actually going to it. But they had us pull over, they had us take pictures of it, and then the more we continued, the closer the castle got. And then we eventually had to get out of the bus, and then we had to walk the rest of the way. And being there, and then there were paratroopers and planes flying around at different times, and it was super fun. And then I actually was having him take all the pictures of the plane for me because I was stuck on the very left of the plane, and he was on the window seat, so I had him take those for me.
Okay. My name is Sadie Couch, and I actually graduated last year, so I got to experience my graduation in Paris, France, because I missed the walk here. But one of the opportunities I had was to perform a speech at the Omaha Beach D-Day ceremony. So I got to be up front with some really big names, some really cool groups. And I think that was also one of like my most impactful ceremonies there, because it was really cool. There was like a lot of like bagpipe music, and there was like dancers, and there were singers and everything. And so that was like a really cool experience, and it was a cool honor to be able to speak there too. And then after that ceremony, we actually got to go down onto the beach, which you can see the picture of all of us cadets standing there on the beach. And we just got to like chat and mingle with some of the people there and learn more and more about what we were there for. So that was, yeah, thank you. So.
And then just a shameless plug, I don't know if the QR code stuff works, but there is some video still out there if you wanted, interested to hear Sadie Couch's speech. It is an impactful speech, well received. There's also a short little snippet on YouTube of the parade route as we're marching by, and then the graduation ceremony that was recorded and posted on our website. You can either Google it, Oregon City High School, JROTC Normandy. It pops up still, even though they shifted the website around for us a little. But thank you so much for allowing us to take these kids for that experience.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to ask some questions because I heard about you guys going to Normandy, and I was the board member that asked you guys to all come. How did you get selected? I know there's a lot of JROTC And then the process, like you said, speak about how people in the community help get you over there, because it costs some money, because I might be going there shortly, and I know how expensive it is. So who helped you, and what resources, and if you go again, if the JROTC goes again, how can the community help as well?
So I heard about it through word of mouth and just Major being like, hey, we might be going on a trip. And my friends were talking about it. And then hey, I want to be on that. And then one day I was just kind of put onto it. And we fundraised for a long time, me especially. And me and Jacob actually went outside of different stores, Albertsons, did a bunch of different taskers, hoping to raise money for the trip. And the closer we got to the deadline, the more I realized, wow, this is not enough for France. So I was talking to Major, and I was like, listen, I don't think I can do this. And he actually put me in contact with a lot of different people. And one of the big ones was Angels in the Outfield. They did a very big part of it, and they helped out a lot. And my grandma is a part of the Ford to the 50s car club, and they helped out quite a bit too. And just being able to be in contact with these communities and being able to fundraise and taskers, there's lots of different taskers that Major also set us up on. And he's still helping me out with some of the back pay I got left. So it's been super nice.
Nice. There were so many probably events going on, but what was, obviously you said the speech, but if you were to go back and you were like, because when you go back to something, it really meant something, what would you go back and a spot and hit, each one of you?
I'd probably go back to Paris, the Eiffel Tower. We didn't get to see that for very long. We went over there for probably like 30 minutes. I'd like to actually go explore that little area, and also just go back to Normandy, that one, Saint Michel. That was really cool, and that's where I would like to go back to.
For me, I would definitely say the Eiffel Tower was obviously a very big moment. But I think just all of Normandy in general, it was just so green and so colorful and beautiful. And I feel like I would want to go, and instead of being in more city-like and more in hotels, I'd want to be more out there and actually look and see the wilderness and see the differences in like animals and everything else that they have there.
I would probably go back to Omaha Beach because there's not a lot to see there. Like, it just looks like a beach. It looks like Tillamook. But being down there, you're able to talk to people, and I heard a lot of really cool stories of people talking about, like, this is what happened to my grandfather here. Like, this is what he told me about when I asked him about this. And so it was really cool to, like, be down there and just think about those stories and, like, actually see where it was happening.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I'd like to build on that a little bit. You guys work so hard with all of your fundraising, trying to navigate this big trip. You're flying international. Was there a moment on this educational journey that you had that, wow, I'm changed for the rest of my life moment?
For me, it was definitely getting ready to board the plane. I was like, this is going to be the piece of cake. And then seeing this huge plane and ladders and everything going up to it, I was very scared. So I was like, wow, this is actually happening. And the first flight we had, it was only like 30 minutes long. It was not a very long flight. And then once we got off, we had to rush to the next one, and then we waited a while. And then we finally got onto it again. And then it was another super long flight instead. So it was definitely like two complete opposites of each other. And I don't know, I feel like just being able to see the plane and get on it was the first, like, wow, this is actually happening to me.
I never knew that they had a warm-up. So on the bus, they were talking about some of the facts, and I never knew that 3 weeks before they stormed the beaches that they had a practice. So I was listening to that, and I think a big moment was like hearing about the practice and hearing the amount of casualties just in that alone. And that was just kind of a wow. Like, that kind of gave me a brand new perspective on this. and also seeing the beaches the 5 different beaches that were stormed that day. One of them was just an entire cliffside, like it wasn't even a beach, and it was just people. They stopped that and had to climb that, and had to fight that, just for peace of the world. So that was cool.
For me, when I was about to give my speech, they introduced me and introduced like some of my family that had fought in World War II. And so like my wow moment was when like the mayor of the town that was sitting next to me like shook my hand and like thanked me for their service and everything, because like I wasn't expecting that at all, and they were very, very kind about it. So that was mine.
We did see your video during graduation. That was cool that you were present. And just kind of curious on this coming up year. I mean, that's a pretty high bar, but some things coming up with the JROTC. How can we follow that or find out?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's still with the big change of schedules, especially. It's definitely been more of a kind of 180 on everything, because we used to have a very like set stuff, and now we kind of like, wow, now we don't. So we're kind of our main thing is kind of fixing all that first, and then afterwards, I hope that there's some pretty exciting moments. I probably won't be there, but I've been hearing talk about Hawaii and other things. So
Great.
but yeah.
All right, I'll just follow you online then.
Any other question?
I was just curious, how did this, and maybe you guys don't know, I suspect you do, but how did the opportunity to go to Normandy and be part of the parade, how did that happen?
There's an educational tour company that reaches out to JROTC programs because they do memorials like this for Pearl Harbor and for Vietnam returning, and they need military-looking groups to come. High school kids dress up as junior ROTC, pass pretty well as military overseas, so they love to have the high school kids come experience that and do these ceremonies that also, again, our full-time military doesn't necessarily have all that much time to focus on standing at the position of attention and marching around for a parade. They have other callings, but they reached out to us, and this same tour group knows we're on the map and knows how to get a hold of us, and they're definitely soliciting us to do other trips for them too, because they know we plan and travel well, so we give them performances and we bring the right amount of kids to do ceremonies for them so that they can have great productions for the audience that attends these ceremonies. So yeah, hopefully we've taken 2 groups to Hawaii for Pearl Harbor. I've been here 16 years, so we've done a few of these too. And then we're really looking forward to another opportunity to pair up with them doing Vietnam ceremonies, which we've not done, but they're currently doing those in Hawaii, but they're also looking at a Vietnam exchange with some ceremonies as our relations normalize with Vietnam, I guess, in this current climate. But at least Hawaii again, which again is a nice experience for the kids and lots of good ceremonies and lots of good crowd over there, especially in Oahu for ceremonies like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you coming, and
Thank
what a
you
great
all.
job. Okay, next we have recognition and good news. We are going to hear about first day of school from Dr. Spitzer.
Excellent. So just a big thank you to Michelle Ryan for putting together a little slide deck movie to show the first day of school. We welcomed back our students last week, and we had a total of 6,478 students. So it was really great to have them back, and we're just going to let you enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Up next, we have our superintendent update.
Yes. Yes, so thank you, Michelle, for all those images. See lots of collaboration with students and their shiny crayons and all the fun things. So that was great. So for update, I have 4 things I want to talk about. So first, we had a great week. One of my highlights this week, I was at Tumwata, and I asked a student who was a 6th grader, I said, are you excited to be in a new school? And he said, oh, no, I was here over the summer. I already know this place. I've already met friends. So it just reminded me of the power of summer school and that time to help kids feel comfortable in their setting. So he was ready to go. It was really exciting. Again, overall, we had 6,478 students registered, and we were expecting 6,489, so pretty good guess. And over the next few weeks, we'll continue to reach out to students and families we expected to come but haven't yet seen. And then our actual enrollment will be more clear later this month. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the heat last week. So we had some very warm days, and without AC in our elementaries yet, and our smaller high schools, it was warmer than preferred in some of our classrooms. Trinity Gibbons, our new director of operations, sent out reminders about heat mitigation best practices with school staff at the start of the week, and worked with principals and custodians related to their specific schools and spaces. She and Tom Larson, our maintenance and facilities supervisors and cabinet team members, went out to schools throughout the week to monitor mitigation efforts and address specific areas of concern. As a system, we monitor the heat, the trajectory of temperatures throughout the day and in the forecast, and also the heat index. The heat index is used by the National Weather Service, and it considers not only the temperature, but the humidity for a feels-like measurement. Spaces were mostly in the low 80s inside by dismissal time last week. Throughout the week, the use of fans and air circulation efforts, proper hydration, opening and closing of windows and shades helped. Teachers and staff were asked to let their principals know if there were areas that were too hot or if they or students experienced any heat-related concerns so they could be supported immediately. Trinity was in almost every elementary classroom last week. Monitoring, supporting, and teaching staff on appropriate mitigation efforts and the importance of consistency with those actions. And I want to thank her and the team for their work and the ongoing planning for the spring. Mid-September to October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to change things up a little bit. In the past, we had that kickoff now, but we haven't had time to do any celebrations. So we're just announcing it, and then in October, Gardner will come, and they will share all the great things that they did to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And then finally, just a plug for volunteers. Last year, as you will recall, we had over 3,000 volunteers. And we want to continue with those volunteers as we head into the fall. We had volunteers on the first day helping our kids, which was great. We've seen them in our sports activities, PTA. Tonight we're going to hear from the CBOC, which is district-level volunteers, and our Oregon City Schools Foundation, which are other ways to get involved. Volunteers or potential volunteers should also start their application online. They should apply or renew by October 1st, so we hope we continue with those volunteers. And I also want to just thank Director Blackwell, Lisa Sarah. We had over 300 backpacks, school supplies, et cetera, given out at our resource fair the week before school. All of those were given out in about an hour. The Optimist came and fed everyone, which was awesome. It's nice to have them. There's real need in our community, and that was evident that night. And we'll continue to work with our families and kiddos to make sure they have what they need as we continue in this year. But want to thank the many volunteers that helped with that evening because it was a great time. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Spitzer. Do we have any patron input?
Yes, we do. We
Fantastic.
have one in person, and I will, nothing electronically this evening.
Okay.
But I will go ahead and read the procedures for public participation.
Thank you.
The Oregon City School District Board of Education highly values public input in making important decisions that affect Oregon City's children and community. To ensure the public has an opportunity to offer comments during school board meetings and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district, speakers must observe certain basic rules of conduct. The following guidelines apply to all public comment. All members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. No hate speech is allowed. Individuals are not permitted to engage in conduct that interferes with the ability of other individuals to observe the board meetings, interferes with the ability of other members of the public to offer comment to the board, or interferes with the ability of the board to conduct its business. Members of the public may offer objective criticism of school operations and programs, but the board will not hear complaints concerning specific school personnel or other authorized individuals. Complaints of this nature shall be addressed through Public Complaints Policy KL-AR. Please keep your comments concise, as you will have 3 minutes to speak. You will receive a 1-minute warning. Please be aware that the board will not be responding to your comments. This is a time for board members to listen. Please state your name and affiliation with the district when you come to the dais. I would like to invite, please forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, Adley Vierden to the front. Thank you.
Thank you. Make sure that your light is bright green.
Okay. Hello? Okay.
Perfect.
When should I begin?
You can begin now.
Okay. Hi, I am Adelaide Verdon. I am a junior student at Oregon City High School, and I'm talking about my concern with AI usage and promotion at my school. So I've had a teacher and have seen other teachers using the strategy of using a stoplight to approach AI usage in classroom. The idea is that a red light means absolutely no AI use in an assignment, yellow suggests some or regulated AI usage on assignments, and green meaning unregulated AI usage on assignments. Here's the problem. As a student at Oregon City High School, I consider my teachers some of my biggest influences, and when it comes to education, values, and general life skills, I know many other students feel the same. Teachers promoting the idea that there are right and wrong times to use AI makes me feel extremely uncomfortable as a student, because I know that AI platforms strip away humans' ability to think and is a tool designed to literally do thinking for you. So I think it is plain distraught for a teacher whose job is to provide an education to tell students that it is okay in some cases to replace learning with AI. I'm aware that AI also comes with benefits. Students with learning disabilities, language barriers, and other difficulties may heavily rely on AI tools for learning. Putting my own environmental morals aside, I have no problem with this. I don't think AI has to be entirely restricted in schools, but rather the general use teachers are promoting is where the problem lies. I understand and respect that policies typically remain up to the teacher in schools, but this problem to me is so much bigger and not nearly as harmless as teachers are treating it. The last biggest takeaway that I wanted to provide is that AI has very horrible environmental impacts. It produces a lot of greenhouse gas emissions and is basically increasing climate change, and I think that's like the biggest pointer in all of this underlying. I left that note card at home, but yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all for this evening.
Fantastic. Thank you. Moving on to board communication with our student representative, Ms. Bedema.
Hi there, my name's Karaya Fedema. I'm a senior at Oregon City High School this year, and I'm here to tell you guys what we've been doing in student council and in our school. So we had our senior sunrise. I was there. It was super fun. There was donuts. We got to all put our handprints on this big sign, which is now hung up right outside the library in our school. So it was a really great just community event to come together as seniors for our last year. Also, that day was our freshman first day. I wasn't there, but I've heard great things about it. And yeah, so upcoming tomorrow, actually, we have our first whole school assembly of the year. So I'm very excited for that. The following day, on Wednesday, we have our Suicide Awareness Day. So in order to acknowledge this, we encourage the school to wear teal and purple, which are the suicide awareness colors. And in the mornings, we hand out little bracelets at the doors when students come in, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from that in the past. So we're doing it again this year. And also coming up this month is Everything Homecoming. So we have student council always decorates our hallways really well, so we've been working really hard on our decorations this year. We have our homecoming assembly, the parade, and the dance coming up. So we're all working super hard to prepare for those. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we have our OCEA representative, Asha.
Hi, I'm Asha Sandhu. I teach second grade at Holcomb, and I'm also the OCEA Vice President, for those of you that don't know. We had a great first week back with students. I was like really excited to be back in my classroom. I'm sure other teachers are too, even though I know the first week can also be challenging. And unfortunately, though, it was a hot first week back, as Dr. Spitzer mentioned. Usually that first week is, and then in the spring we get it again. We did our best. I think everybody was doing everything they possibly could in schools with what we have, the fans and the windows. Unfortunately, some of our windows don't open very much or at all, and it can get quite hot. So I know a lot of us were pretty hot after school, but we did our best. And I do also know that a lot of teachers and educators are looking forward to meeting families at back-to-school nights and open houses that are coming up. I think the high school is this week, and then some middle schools are coming up next week, I think, and elementaries, at least I know ours is in a few weeks towards the end of September, which is a change. In the past, we've done back-to-school night during that first week before school. So I think it'll be kind of fun to have families come in now that their students are kind of acquainted with the classroom, and it'll be a little bit of a change. So really looking forward to getting to meet families, and I'm sure other people are too. And that's everything we've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie Reedy, and I am the OSEA president. It's early in the year, so not a lot going on yet, but we are have some bargaining dates set up to get that back going, hoping to wrap that up soon. And then we had a great welcome back meeting last week. I guess was that just last week or the week before that, I guess? Time is flying already. And had a really good turnout. I wasn't sure with the shift in schedule, having our meetings first. I was like, they're all going to sleep in and not come, but we had a really good turnout and it was great. And so we actually saw a really good growth in membership filled out that day and the few days that followed, and got some good feedback on how the meeting went. So that was nice to hear and see happening. We've got a full board this year, so that'll be nice to work with from the beginning of the year and having them help me. We'll be doing up some building visits. Renee works at my school at Tumwata with me, and she's our new secretary. So she and I will probably be doing some before we start, while people are working already at schools, since we start so late. And then Tanya will help with some in the afternoon, and we'll just making connections with people and doing that type of stuff. I was hoping JROTC would stay for a minute. I just wanted to say how proud we are of them. When we go to our OSEA conference in June, this was my 5th year to go, and every year Oregon City's JROTC is there to do our opening ceremonies with the flags. And I'm always like, yes, it's Oregon City again, like, yes. So it's always just a really proud moment, and I was gonna share how proud we are of them for always showing up to do that, but they're already gone, so I'll send them an email. That's it.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Lots of good things happening. Next, moving on to reports and discussion. Our first report is CTE Overview with Mike Stead. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm just going to bring a few chairs because eventually I'm going to have friends join me, but not quite right away. Because they said they didn't want to come sit until So, hi. Okay, green light. Yep. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Stead. I am the case principal, and I'm also our CTE administrator for Oregon City School District. And I'm happy to be here tonight to talk about CTE in Oregon City School District across our 3 high schools, and to talk about some program updates that we have going on this year. And then I'm excited, mostly, to have people who are not me talk about some cool things that are happening in CTE. So we'll bring them up in a few minutes to share a little bit about their programs. So just to start, I wanted to do just a quick overview of what we have happening in CTE, because a lot has changed just in the last year. So just as a quick update about the programming that we have, when we say CTE, we mean Career Technical Education programs in the district. And so right now at Oregon City High School, We've got programs in business that are well established in accounting, business systems, and marketing. We've got our construction program with Tom Wirtz, culinary. Our health sciences program has undergone a significant revision over the last year and has rebranded using Project Lead the Way's curriculum as a guide to become a biomedical sciences program. And we'll have more updates to share about that program later this year and into next year as that program really fully launches and rebrands in full, as well as our JROTC program, who we've already seen this evening. And while they're not an official CTE pathway, I mean, they are CTE. That's what they do. At CASE, my school, we've been busy. This year, we launched an egg science program, and Chloe Corliss, our instructor, will be here to talk about them more in just a minute. In partnership with CCC, we launched our first dual pathway between Oregon City School District and Clackamas Community College in automotive. We got lucky and launched a computer science and technology program to start this year, and then returned our engineering, manufacturing, which makes up machining, welding, and woodworking, and video production program. And this year, we launched Clackamas County's first BOLI certified pre-apprenticeship program in plumbing, which we're really excited about. And we'll talk more about that separately in just a minute. And then, not to be left out of the party, OCSLA joined our CTE programs this year as well, launching an education and training program this year. And to be clear, that program is not an early childhood education program, but rather an education and training program. So students that go through that program are also partnered with CCC, starting out with an education practicum program. That CCC program is partnered with Eastern Oregon University. So students start with a practicum working primarily with our students at a couple different partner elementary schools in the district, mostly Holcomb right now, although we've got students looking at some other elementary schools as well. But if they stay in that program after graduation, they can start with us, through expanded options, head to CCC, and then graduate as teachers with their elementary education endorsement from Eastern Oregon without ever leaving the Oregon City campus at CCC, which is a pretty awesome opportunity and a way for us to grow our own teachers in the future, which is something we're really excited about. So those are all of the CTE programs that we've got in place. And you can see there's a lot of new or updated things that have been coming down the pipeline the last year, which we're really excited about. But we wanted to spotlight a few specific programs tonight. So one that I'll talk a little bit about, and then I'm going to start handing back and forth off to some folks before we get to questions. So this year we launched, like I said, a BOLI pre-apprenticeship program at CASE. That program is part of something that we're calling the Clackamas Youth Trades Initiative, which is a region-wide effort to grow trades across Clackamas County. And we volunteered to be the pilot for that, for the county. So that is a partnership with the Area 1 plumbers and pipe fitters and the local 290 specifically to provide preferred entry for students that are completing a program of study. How that works for students in the district is basically, long story short, is kids take a credit of metals at CASE, so that's metals 1 and 2, and they apply to enter the pre-apprenticeship program after they've taken a credit of metals. Once they've done that, they take 1 additional credit of metals and an OSHA 10 certification course, which that can be done within a year's time, and submit a portfolio at the end. And while I'm not going to make her talk tonight, I'm going to make sure that you know who she is because she's sitting in the audience even though she doesn't want attention. Angie Gilbert, who is our new school to career coordinator, who's hiding behind me, is our person that helps run point on that. We're super happy to have Angie join us in the district. And for that pre-apprentice program, students starting this year can graduate working with the area plumbers and pipe fitters to then go direct, or not direct because they would be preferred, but go preferred into that apprenticeship program, which is going to be a huge opportunity for us. And it serves as a model for us to bring other industry partners on board in a similar fashion. So we've started having other conversations with our other CTE programs about, okay, who else wants to join this model now that we know how this works? We just needed somebody to jump in first, and the local 290 wanted in. So we started with them. but we're really excited to have that join. Now I'm going to invite Chloe Corliss to come and sit with me up here to talk a little bit about FFA, which is also new this year.
It is. Hi, my name is Chloe Corliss. I'm the agriculture science teacher and the most recently FFA advisor for Oregon City. So exciting update. At the end of August, Oregon City officially, the FFA charter application got approved. So it's officially an FFA chapter, which is very exciting. You'll hear from Ethan. He's one of the officers. He's not speaking about FFA, but you'll hear from him. So some student representation there. This year our main, do you want to say something? Okay. This year our main focus is just kind of getting students interested and educating them on what FFA is. In all of my ag science classes, we're doing a little unit on FFA so they can kind of get familiar with it, understand the opportunities it provides. I'm an FFA alumni. FFA opened a lot of doors for me with college, with jobs, scholarships, all that. So I'm just excited that the kids have the opportunity to do this. And I want to thank you all for approving the agriculture program. It's really exciting. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of, like, Chloe's first period's actively building a greenhouse right now that we're excited to get up and ready within the next couple of weeks. And for FFA, the officers are actively working on building out their programming for this year, starting to network with other officers in the area. And just to be clear, while the agricultural science program is housed at Case, it's open to students throughout the district via the shuttle program. So we have a number of students joining us from both OCSLA and Oregon City High School that are already taking Chloe's classes this term, and we expect that'll grow. And we've gotten a number of calls already from folks around the district of, I heard you have FFA, how do I join? And so we're referring them to Chloe to get that information on, and so that students can start to come join and be part of FFA as those meetings get rocking and rolling later this month.
Yeah. I'll have a piece in the newsletter going out for Case, but I'm more than happy to write something that can go out district-wide if that's something you guys are interested in, just so people kind of know about it.
We'll get it to Caitlin. And then, do you want to just kind of hang out? Because we're going to have questions, I'm sure, in just a second. A couple other programs we wanted to highlight. I'm going to talk a little bit about DECA because I promised Brent that I would. Because if I don't talk about DECA, I'll be in trouble with Brent. So DECA is part of our marketing, accounting, and business systems programs. It is a long-standing CTE student partnership program that is offered at Oregon City High School. DECA meets weekly on Tuesdays in the afternoon. Brent Leong and Rioletta run that program at Oregon City High School. We've been sending students all over the country for years with DECA. So continuing that partnership is really important for the district and for us, but also as we're starting to get more and more opportunities for students to get involved around the district, we're excited about the possibility of DECA being able to combine their efforts with some of these other growing CTE programs to help provide advice, because there's a lot of business in a lot of the other programming that we're doing, and being able to bring students across these different CTE pathways to see all these different points of entry is going to be really critical. The other program that we want to spotlight tonight, and Noah, why don't you come on up now too, because you and Ethan are going to talk. I just want to slide here for a sec, about Skynet, robotics, which I know has talked to you before. So they're like, we've got this and we're ready. So
I think we've been here once before.
So
I think we might be a little.
Ethan and Noah.
Yeah. I'm Ethan. I'm our outreach and mechanical lead on Skynet. This is Noah.
I'm Noah. I'm the safety captain and electrical captain on the team.
And we're basically here to kind of bring back light again, because the season's going to start up soon. Kind of say, like, we're here to promote STEM. We're going to start our fundraising soon for our team this year. We're working on new outreach programs that are going to touch in hopefully elementary schools. I've been in contact with Dr. Spicer a little bit about that, or Spitzer, sorry. We've been in contact a little bit. We have more information on that. If you guys have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those later. But we're just trying to bring traction back. We're trying to get out to everybody in the school district and know that we're Oregon City's team. Just because we're housed at Case does not mean that we're Case's team. Do you have any comments?
No.
Pass. Okay. I think the other big piece I just wanted to share tonight, if we go to our last slide and then we can go to questions, is we're doing a lot. with CTE, and there's a lot to still come. With the passing of the bond, there's opportunity for us to make significant capital improvements. And I know, David, I'm not trying to steal your thunder, David, so I will not, because I saw the agenda. So I'll just say that the bond allows for significant capital improvements at Oregon City High School, and I'll leave it there and let David talk more about that when it's his turn. One of the other big pieces for us is continuing that increased CTE partnership with Clackamas Community College. So not just looking at where we can have programs like Chloe's Egg Science program hook up with the horticulture program up here, but also looking at where can we dual fund or dual braid programs, right? Like in automotive's case, investing in an automotive shop as a district financially is a significant financial investment. But offering an intro to automotive class that then pipeline students into the automotive program up here is exactly the type of investment that we should be making and can make. And so how and where can we make those partnerships happen and get those in place is critical, and that's part of the work that we're going to continue to be doing as a CTE team. And then in addition, with the shuttle and as we build these programs, just continuing to expand opportunities, not just 9 through 12, but then thinking about how are we getting those opportunities into the hands of our middle school students and our elementary school students, so that as those students work their way up through the system, like students that are in Gardner, Tumwata know about FFA, so that they can be excited in 6th grade, 5th grade, 3rd grade about what those programs are going to look like as they come up, and getting those students. I mean, Skynet does an amazing job of this, of going and doing elementary outreach, but how can all of our CTE programs go do that outreach across the K-12 system? And with that, we'd be happy to turn over to the board for any questions. And I know we've got both Evan and Rowan here too from Skynet. So Ethan and Noah said that they were going to kind of tag in and out for questions too. Feel free to bring chairs if you guys want to. And then, yeah, any questions that you have, we'd be happy to take.
Fantastic. Board?
If I can start.
Yes, you can start.
I'll say, don't pass this off to David. What would be your biggest wants in terms of CTE for the bond?
I think for us, getting additional opportunities on the Oregon City High School campus is something that needs to be a priority, and it is a priority in the bond. So we've done a lot on the Case and Oxlaw campuses to be able to start bringing pathways and programs, and that's not to say we won't continue doing that. We are going to. And for a high school that is the size of Oregon City High School, frankly, the number of CTE programs we have is not sufficient. And so, and we know that, and we're growing those opportunities. And part of that is by shuttling, right, where it makes sense, and part of that is by expanding. So part of our job, part of my job, is to ensure that we're not duplicating efforts, right? We have a welding program. We have a really strong robotics program. So what programs can we build or bring in place that are a value add to the district where we haven't invested in these programs? And what programs is CCC offering that we currently are not? Because there are programs that CCC has that we don't have much of anything in the way of high school programming, and those are the gaps that we're trying to fill first, in addition to talking with industry partners about what they're seeing and needing. Yeah.
Right. What does the enrollment look like then? I know that's a broad question, but for some of these classes, especially the new ones this year.
I mean, I'll let you guys talk about how, well, you guys haven't had your first interest meeting for Skynet yet. You're not, you're at CCC full-time. I think for Egg Science right now, Chloe's got a full schedule of, 20 plus strong in all of her, 20, mid-20s to low 30s in her classes. So we're looking good in Egg Science. It varies across the different programs. Some programs have to be kept deliberately smaller, right? Like a machining class, you really can't have more than about 12 to 15 kids for safety reasons. Metals, you need to be in the 20s because of safety. Tom Wirtz, if I put 45 kids in his construction class, like what would happen at OCHS, right? But I think that by and large, what we're trying to do with programs, or what we're finding with programs, is that I don't have CTE teachers that have open periods on their schedules that aren't filling. Those classes are filling, kids are going into them, and they're getting excited about them. And we're translating that CTE down through our systems to ensure that kids are getting access to those opportunities throughout our system. Yeah.
That's great. And And then you had mentioned industry partners. What does the relationship with businesses or with the greater Oregon City community look like?
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about anything that you guys are doing specifically for Skynet? I mean, I can answer that too.
You should answer that first. I think this is more directed at you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a variety of different pieces that we're working on. So part of Angie's main role is doing that partnership outreach with the local, I'm just gonna like look at you and you can just like throw something at me if I'm wrong. A big part of that role is making connections with like the Chamber of Commerce and local businesses. So, I mean, Angie attends those monthly meetings and is in regular contact with them. We've got a number of connections with the local trade and apprenticeship groups. We're regularly meeting with BOLI around all the pieces for the pre-apprenticeship. We're working on establishing or bolstering our advisory committees for each of our CTE groups. And so like for new programs like Chloe's, that means bringing industry folks in and giving like early advising and working with existing FFA programs and teachers. For more established CTE programs like Brent's business program, that's getting more frequent regular meetings on the books and then working to get program proper equipment that is on like the docket to be replaced, or getting a sequence and cycle of when we're replacing CTE equipment to ensure that we're staying to industry standard. But part of our goal is to try to get as many different folks from different aspects of industry in as we can, and then hosting opportunities to bring industry in to see what we're doing with our program. So like at CASE, for example, in late September or early October, we normally would just do a board meeting where we would bring like our CASE board in, that's an advisory board for the school. But rather than do that this year, we're gonna blow it out and just bring a full, like anybody from industry who wants to come check out CASE, come do a walkthrough tour, and then also who wants to help advise us and or be part of this and or give feedback. Because I think what we're finding is as kids learn about partners, they become where people want to work. Like, for example, our metals program brought Benchmade on as a partner 3 years ago, which is a relatively small manufacturer in Oregon City, but a critical partner for us. And Benchmade has become the #1 place that kids going through Mr. Smith's metals program want to work. They're amazing to work with and amazing to work for. They're very competitive to work for. But also because they jumped in and said, we will take students in high school and give them credit, and we want to hire your best, and then your best go work for them for a few years. Now the best kid from that class works for you. That means something to the next kid up. Yep. And so that pipeline builds itself. And we're trying to show industry partners that, like, if you get in early, you get to pick. And if you get to pick, it's pretty awesome because the kids that we work with are pretty awesome. And so then, like, why wouldn't you want to get in on that? Like, if you can hire a rock, paper, scissors champion like Ethan, like, why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
I mean, he got featured in a superintendent's video at a board meeting. So, yeah, please.
Another thing for FFA that I'm going to work on this year, all of the FFA chapters in the area have alumni chapters, which kind of sounds confusing. You don't actually have to be an FFA alumni to be in the...
That's the border.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to work on establishing that this year. FFA, I mean, it's possible without community members, but it's definitely not. You can't go as far as you could with community members, so definitely working on the alumni chapter this year just to also involve industry, not only with our advisory board, but also on the FFA side too, outside of the curriculum, so.
I'd also say that Oregon City's robotics team, any type of mentorship from any type of, we're definitely programming mentors right now, that's a very big one, but if there's any community programming mentors that would be willing to come help out with our team, our starting meeting is on September 11th and September 12th, and we'd love to get that out there for other people to come join.
I was going to say a question for Skynet, which is that my niece is on the robotics team at Lake Oswego, so I do a lot of trash talk on your behalf.
Oh, yeah, no, I know Lake Oswego very well.
Yeah. My niece is Bristol Hill. But so I wanted to know when you guys are going to have your first competitions.
I don't have that knowledge right now.
Evan, do you know? Our hosted robotics competition this year at CASE will be the week of spring break. this year. So we always host a robotics competition every year, and we're hosting one the week of spring break, which is in March this year. But then our robotics team will start its competition schedule you guys usually will start competing right after the beginning of the year normally, right? I mean, you'll do some pre-competition work this fall.
The game drops on the first Saturday of the year, of the new year, and that's when we all go in for a couple hours on our Saturday, and we go brainstorm and get ready for the season.
Yeah.
So a follow-up to that is, can you explain to all of us when you say the game drops, what that means and what what's the ultimate goal?
You want to take it, Evan?
What we mean by that when the game drops is they would announce to all the robotics teams what the game for this season would be. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, as soon as we find out what the game is and all the rules, we can start brainstorming of our strategies, what our strategy is going to be for this season, so we can base what our robot is going to look like and do for this next robotics season.
And when you say robotic season, you are competing with other robotic teams
so you compete
here in
with
the
other,
state?
Yeah, you compete with other teams. Sorry to interrupt. That was really rude.
No, go right ahead.
You compete with
You're
other
answering the
teams
question.
on the FRC spectrum, or I don't know what you'd call it, like, I guess it's basically like the NFL of robotics.
You're in your robotic. You're competing in your league against other teams that are of a similar size and relative level.
I wish that they were relative size, maybe that experienced some of our issues.
Yeah.
Evan is wonderful. He's currently here. He's a understudy right now. He's understudying for me. I'm our outreach lead, and I want him to be able to fill in and take up this when he's done. So to finish up on the game, basically what happens is this field stays the same every year. You get different scoring elements in different ways that they're scored, and that will be like your difference in what your robot's going to do, how it's going to function, what it's going to look like. And we always, whenever we get sponsors, we put them on our robot. So that was an issue last year, actually. We didn't have enough space for sponsors, so we had to come up with own ways to put on our sponsors.
That's great.
That'll be something that we'll look into this year a little bit more.
So ultimately, though, there is both national and international competitions, are there not?
Correct.
Yeah. And has Oregon City ever attended one of those?
A long time ago. We've made it to districts. We qualified for districts last year, but due to a lack of funding, we weren't able to make it. It was in Cheney, Washington. So
good to know.
Yeah. Do you have any comments on that?
Okay, I'm going to focus back on Chloe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was excited going through the agenda last night, and I promised Dr. Crane, when I saw the FFA was going to promote, that I would creepily crawl up into my attic. Now, please keep in mind, when I wore this, I was 16. The shoulders are almost there, and that's about it. So my question to you, because this means a lot to me. I mean, I'm 55 now, and I still have my jacket. At 16, that was my connection, was my FFA in egg science and competing at Clackamas County Fair. Are you getting support from our surrounding FFA chapters as you start this endeavor?
Definitely, yeah. A big help. I was in Malala FFA. I went to Malala High School, so I know Danelle and Mackenzie over there, and then North Clackamas, lots of family connections before I was even in high school, so they've all been nothing but supportive, which I'm very appreciative of. Camby as well, I've talked to Paige numerous times, so it's helpful being a past member just because I already had the connections, but everyone involved in FFA is so amazing and supportive already, even if I didn't know them, but yeah, they've been nothing but helpful, all the other chapters in the area.
So you can reach out about the alumni.
Yeah, I will.
I watched this morning because it was definitely in the attic.
I still have my dad's jacket. He's here because he wanted to come watch, but we still have his jacket too, and he's in his 50s.
Yes. I told you I would do it.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks
we
so much,
really
everybody.
appreciate it. It's amazing work.
Thank you, guys.
Next, we have the Community Bond Oversight Committee presentation with David Hops and community member Greg Stoll.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing and asking for our Community Bond Oversight Committee to come in and do a presentation. They've got a variety of questions, I think, for you, and I'll provide some updates on how our committee is operating so far. We have about 16 committee members that volunteered. It is an all-volunteer group, which is really great to have and very supportive of what we're trying to do. I also provided you with a copy of our roles and responsibilities for the Oversight Committee. You've got that in your packets. You can understand what they are being tasked with over the course of the next 3 years. It's a great commitment. So with that, I'd like to turn it over and invite Greg Stoll, who's our chair. Our vice chair, Macy Tisdale, was not able to be here, but I believe Greg has invited Lena Bazencleve, I hope I pronounced that right, who's one of our committee members, to go through their presentation this evening. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Greg Stoll. I'm the chair. Macy, as David said, is unavailable tonight, so Lena's here to help answer questions. I unfortunately had to miss one of our 3 meetings due to work commitments, so she can fill in on that. So we've had three meetings so far. Most of them were just kind of organization and roles and responsibilities and that sort of discussion. The first meeting, I don't know who's running the slide deck. Okay, all right, I'm gonna move to the next one. Yeah, so introductions of everybody, officer elections. As an aside, both Macy and I are sons or friends in the same class, and the spouse of their teacher was also on the board, which is a random coincidence. Yeah, so introduction to officer elections, just kind of a broad overview for that first meeting. We'll move on to the next slide. Thanks. Oh yes, future meeting dates. The next meeting was in June. I missed that one, but from what I read on the minutes, reviews of budget and expenditures to date, the project updates, and again, roles and responsibilities. That's been a pretty big topic of discussion, I think. Not everybody's super clear on what the role of the Bond Oversight Committee is, so there's been a lot of talk about that. And then the meeting, what was it, a couple weeks ago? A lot of discussion about expenditures to date versus encumbered expenses. Because it's early in the bond process, there's not a lot of expenditures yet. So we discussed ways to kind of what the committee and what the group wanted to see from staff in the future as far as the budget, even though there's no expenditures yet. We kind of want to see where those line items are. And then just, again, a review of the roles in the budget change process and how we fit into that. Going forward, we're going to have quarterly meetings. First Monday of December, March, and June. Is that right? I believe. And potentially, as we get farther into the bond, we may have to do more frequent meetings. Yeah, key takeaways from those meetings, there's not a lot to review just yet. Wide variety of experience, personal and professional experience from the various members, some folks that have a lot of construction-specific experience, financial experience, real good breadth of experience that everyone brings to the board. And folks are not afraid to ask questions, which is good. So. Yeah. Going forward, like I said, quarterly meetings, December 1st, March 2nd, June 1st. Potentially increased meeting frequency after that as we get farther into the bond. I don't know. We'll just kind of play that one by ear. And then lastly, questions for you. This is the first report. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to talk about, so I just kind of made it up. But guidance from you all. The topics that you'd like to see in these reports and the frequency. If we have quarterly meetings, do you want to report after every meeting, or however you want to do it? And then obviously we're here for questions if anyone has any.
Great. The questions from the board. Pamela?
So are you, it looks like you guys are asking great questions. This is a personal, I guess, question because you can't answer for anybody, but are you feeling like this process is what you imagined it to be? And do you feel like it's valuable both to, is it valuable time spent and also valuable to the district?
My personal experience with it so far is that it's extremely valuable to be able to be in these rooms and ask the questions and see the high level of engagement from my peers, to ask questions and try to get clarification. I think that biggest piece has been that RACI model of really understanding what our role is. And, you know, when we look at the grounding guidance of it, that's our mission is to make sure that we are, that expenses are the way that they said that we were going to do it in the bond. There's a lot of detail that would go into that in order for us to be informed in that and to make sure that that is happening. So I think there's a lot of, I don't know if there's anxiety, like a low level of that, of are we going to be able to perform? Are we going to be able to do that? And there isn't much information that's out yet. We've only spent, what, $3 million out of 181. So it's going to be ramping up and there's going to be information. I think that there's a high level of trust that the information will be coming. And I think right now what I see happening is that the groundwork is being laid to establish a relationship between the CBOC and the staff. So. But incredibly valuable to be there.
Thank you.
And for me, when you go into these things, I don't come in with any expectations because it's never what you expect it to be. So I just sort of put that out the window. I'm sure you've all experienced that when you first started on this board. Yeah, I think it's valuable. I kind of like policy things, so that's why I'm there. But it's fulfilling for me for sure. And I'm also happy that, you know, my kid's school is getting the AC before the others.
Ryan? I really don't have any questions. I just wanted to say thank you. I've been on a handful of boards, and you're leading the most engaged group of folks I've ever seen do this kind of stuff. There's no joke when they mentioned questions. Like, David's in the hot seat every single time when he's in one of those meetings, and the questions are really great and they're thought-provoking, and you all are doing a really nice job. So thank you for what you've done and what you're going to be continuing to do over the next few years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're going to be meeting to kind of iron out how the meetings are going to go and presentations and things here next week or two.
Great.
First of all, I want to thank you for hosting me and Director Pitts at your last meeting. It was really nice to be a part of that. I have a couple questions for you. The first would be, what do you feel the role of the Oversight Committee should be?
I mean, there's paper that says what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, our role is pretty clearly laid out, and I agree with what's written on the paper. It's 16 points. It's very robust for volunteers.
Do you feel like you're getting adequate data and adequate answers to your questions from staff?
I believe that we will. Yeah. I think as far as what information is available now, I feel like we have so far. I think that we're generally, and I'm sorry, I'm just speaking over it, but I think that we're eager to be put in the game. And, you know, we're all just sitting on the sideline going, okay, we want it, let's oversee. But there isn't much to oversee quite yet.
Yeah. I'd agree. I think that we're getting we will be getting the information that we want, but there's just not a lot to share at the moment. So, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Other questions from the board?
And do you think a quarterly report, like after the meetings, is doable? Does that feel like a good pace that would be a reasonable ask?
It's a reasonable ask for me, yeah. If it's something that you'd like us to do, I certainly can. Yeah, that's up to you. I'm happy to do. Probably no more than one report per meeting, but yeah, I'm happy to do that quarterly for this year.
I like that idea too.
Okay.
Mike?
Oh, I as a volunteer myself, I just want to thank you for volunteering your time, and I think this is super important for transparency. It's a big ask from our taxpayer base to come out and ask for money, and I know there's other individuals in the audience that are on this as well. Thank you for doing that. And I read the responsibilities of the board members. Sometimes you go into something thinking like, I'm going to pick, I'm on this oversight committee. I'm going to get to pick the color of the carpet.
Right.
But that's not the job. There's form and function. I hope they've explained all that. And as we move forward, I'm a contractor, so we're like at the planning stage, and the homeowner's like, hey, we want to know where we're at. I'm like, well, we haven't done anything but submit plans. And then it's gonna get real busy real quick, but it's gonna take your time and your energy, and we appreciate that. So thank you for that. And just, again, I know the board members have communicated that we will be transparent with the community. So you asked earlier what we wanted, just transparency. It's like, we're gonna get different bids from different companies, and things might not, budgets will fluctuate and vary, and when we tear something apart, there's gonna be, we didn't know that was in that wall, that all that asbestos. Now we gotta clean it up. So we just need to know why it costs more or it costs less, right? It costs less, and using, and all that stuff. So I think some of this, as I read the responsibilities, I think it's another window into the construction process that the community has, and you guys are the window to the community, so thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to serve. I'm happy to have been selected.
Fantastic. I agree. And to just piggyback on what Mike was saying, and you're asking what the board would want to see, I have not vetted this with the rest of the board, but I appreciate you taking the time to come quarterly. I know that things are going to start ramping up, so in wanting transparency, maybe some sort of structure in what you think is most important to monitor and to be able to share, so we have some data points that we can share back with the community. Information maybe we could put on the website, or we could share talking points for the board to share out in community would be really helpful. And a lot of times having some consistency in the type of information that is shared kind of helps us tell the story. So I would hope that maybe as you look at what these reports look like moving forward, come up with some sort of metrics or something that would be helpful.
Yeah, scaffolding,
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you.
I would also say, please continue to encourage board members to ask the hard questions. Sometimes those conversations get difficult, but sometimes those conversations get difficult, but they're important to have.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
If I could just add on, I would just like to say, it's not about being in the hot seat for us. It really is about the partnership and starting to collaborate with the committee and help to understand what they need and what they want. We've had Blaze Riggins join us as our new CFO. That's why we're going to partner up with Greg and Macy really to talk about the structure of that committee going forward, and really hearing what we've heard over the last 3 meetings. I think we have a good sense of what the committee is looking for. And now I think we have an opportunity to create even a stronger partnership with district staff and with the leadership of the committee and the committee as a whole to deliver what they're looking for, to be able to give you that additional reassurance that I think you're looking for in this process. So I really look forward to the opportunity to continue to collaborate as we move forward. So thank you.
Fantastic.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
My phone thought you were talking to it.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time on the committee and also coming tonight to speak to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Up next, we have our presentation, OC Schools Foundation, Connie and Carla.
So I'm Carla, and this is Connie, but before we start, I want to thank Holly for getting her slideshow up and running. Let's just say Connie and I are volunteers, and we have a lot of strengths. Technology is not one of them. And so Holly and I had quite a few emails exchanged back and forth, and so I'm happy to see the slideshow up here, Holly. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to hear a little bit about the Oregon City Schools Foundation. And you'll forgive me, but I'm going to read on script so I don't forget anything because, well, you know. Okay, so the mission of the Oregon City Schools Foundation has been for a while to help Oregon City be one of the best places to raise a child. And so we fill in, you know, where we're needed, where we can, where we're wanted, and yeah, hopefully help fill in some of those little places that can make a real difference in a student's life. Well, with that in mind, having said all that, we partner with the Oregon City School Districts, including the charter schools, to help with programs that enhance learning experience and well-being. After a meeting with stakeholders a couple years ago, we established pillars for the foundation that help guide us, and that was literacy and reading for the elementary schools, social and emotional well-being for middle schoolers, and scholarship. We've been trying to dip our toe a little bit into mentorship, but after hearing Mike Stead's presentation, I don't really think they need us doing any of that. So, but we do provide a wide variety of scholarships for students at the high school level. And in fact, this year we have a new scholarship directly aimed at the trades. So, which is exciting. We had Plumbers Local come to us and say, hey, we'd like to establish a scholarship. So that's pretty exciting. So at present, we concentrate, in elementary, our main programs are Oregon Battle of the Books and Reading Buddies. At Holcomb, we have a staff of volunteers that come in and do Reading Buddies with the lower grades. And previously, we had supported Jump Start in the middle schools. But since y'all got that big influx of summer money, we were like, oh, that's okay. You have $1 million. You probably don't need our $10,000. So we've redirected those funds after speaking to the middle school principals into a nutritional support. And so we're going to be providing snacks for hungry kids because we all know how hard it is for kids to concentrate, especially middle schoolers when, you know, it's time to eat something. So,
my chat about Battle of the Books while that slides up, or
I'm not ready for Battle of the Books yet.
Okay.
Sorry, Caitlin. I'm sorry, I'm still rambling on.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so almost. I won't go into all the different kind of scholarships that we provide, but it is wide and varied. One of the kind of really cool ones is we have something called the Legacy Scholarship, and those funds are provided by classes during their 50th year reunion. They donate funds to give to, so we call it the Legacy because it's passing funds from one generation to the next. Well, many a few generations down. So anyway, in addition to the student support, we support staff who support our students. And one way is by hosting a yearly celebration of the operations department, which in the past has been anybody under Michael Sweeten, but I understand there's been a change of personnel. So anyway, that includes bus drivers, mechanics, maintenance, custodians, and IT. And at the beginning of this year, we instituted a program of giving funds to new teachers to help them set up their classrooms. So that was super fun. Some other ways the foundation has helped out. We've donated pianos to the middle schools. We support the needs for fund requests. For example, last year, the Oregon City High School debate team went to nationals in Iowa, and they came to us and we were able to give them some support, which as I was listening to the kids talk about the art, I mean, we would have been a great resource for JROTC. Yeah, so those kind of things, yeah, it's something definitely we do. We supply backpacks for the district resource fair. We act as a conduit for programs like the grad party. So basically, they use our tax, and our treasurer, and she helps coordinate all that. We sponsor prizes for the district poetry contest. So yay, Caitlin. And then starting this year, we're partnering with the Oregon City Arts Commission, which gave us a generous grant to bring cultural and arts programs to the elementary schools. Hit it, Caitlin. All right, Carla's going to talk about Battle of the Books, which is one of our programs.
So some of you might be familiar with Oregon Battle of the Books. Maybe you've had your own students involved in it. If it's new to you, it is a book competition that is divided up into grade levels, 3rd through 5th grade, middle school, and high school. And we were thrilled to be able to buy multiple sets of books to the elementary schools, including the 2 charter schools, Alliance Charter Academy and Springwater Environmental Sciences School. And we had a great response. In fact, the response from elementary was so great that when some of those kids went to middle school, they asked about, wait, do you have Oregon Battle of the Books? Do you have OBOB here? So we're very excited that it's kind of, creating some enthusiasm to support reading. So you'll see the slide here about Oregon Battle of the Books, and then I think we have some student amazing OBOB stars pictured there.
I have to interrupt you really quick because that's my son down there on the right, and I didn't know he was in the presentation, and that's exciting.
Oh, well.
Okay, yes. Well, very exciting, and very exciting that he was a participant. Awesome. Go ahead and click the next one, Caitlin. Oh, yeah, so this.
What?
No,
we're not done that. We're not quite done.
Go back.
See, we did not rehearse because this is the way we roll.
Oh, okay, what?
Well, no, I was just going to say, over the past 2 years, the foundation has donated over 1,400 books to the libraries in the elementary schools. So this is not insignificant, but and I had to, he that does not tooteth his own horn, right, does not get it toothed. So there you go. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just thinking our next board meeting, I'm going to start with Connie going toot, toot. But anyway, can we go forward, or you want to say more?
Sure.
We actually have a really good working relationship, and we are going to giggle about this afterwards.
We laugh a lot.
Yes. Are you talking about this, or is this me?
Are we ready for this one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this is some fun slides. We just wanted to share some fun slides from the celebration for operations. And, every single person in this district is so important to our students' educations. And a few years ago, someone came to us and said, it'd be really nice to do something for the bus drivers. So we did. And now every year they're like, what? This is for us? Yeah. So anyway, we put on a spread and we give them lots of accolades, and it's pretty fun. So there we go. We can see another.
Which was super fun to see the video of first day of school, to see the buses. Because, right, how are the kids going to get there unless there's some transportation? So yay for that. Yeah, and these are just photos from that celebration.
Yeah. Let's see, are we on number 6? There we go, that's the last one. Yes, they are. They are the best.
Connie mentioned that we were part of the Back to School Resource Fair, and I would also like to acknowledge Lisa Norman being there, Dr. Spitzer, and Heidi Blackwell's entire family looked like they were there. So that is awesome to me to see actually our district community very hands-on. So that was super fun, despite that it was probably, 90-some degrees and super hot, but oh well, it wasn't raining. And as mentioned, there are a lot of families who actually have a need, and it was great to be a part of that. So we, as a foundation, will plan to be a part of that next year also.
Almost. Okay, so all of these programs that we've been talking about take money, obviously, and we are completely reliant upon fundraising and donors. And so This year, we inherited from the Downtown Merchants Association the Oregon Trail Game and 5K. We had no idea what we were in for. I promise you, we were babes in the proverbial woods.
Okay, just to be totally transparent, I know Connie and I look very athletic, but truth be told, we've never run a 5K, we've never done anything, but we were so excited that we would have the opportunity to have kind of a signature fundraiser. And we have learned so much now that we're actually going to host it again.
Right?
Yay!
Because it was so much fun. And we had no idea how iconic this game is.
Right.
See, you all knew. Well, that would have been useful information to us about 9 months ago. So we open registration for this and start getting sponsors, and people are coming from all over the United States for it. We have people from New York, Georgia, Alaska, Florida, all over the place. And I'm thinking, well, okay, whatever works for you. We're happy to take your money. So, and it was so much fun. We all had a wonderful time. We do actually have, way back in the day, I did one 5K, and that was a while ago. But we actually have some marathoners in our midst, and so they were extremely helpful.
Notice she's trying not to make eye contact with me because she knows it's not me. She's like, right, Carla? I'm like, no, I don't run a marathon. No.
Anyway, so Lisa helped set the race up. We worked on sponsors. We had some, really great partners. And one of the main thrusts of this was we had a kids fun run and a kids activities. So it was so incredibly fun. The kids had their own little maps, and they went through marking themselves through the Oregon Trail. They had decision points. They found out at the end, whether they had made it or not. They learned a little bit. They got bandanas, and then they ran in the fun run. So we had about over 450 participants, over 100 kids, and we had a competition among the schools to see who had the most participants, not just students, but their parents and assorted families. So that was super fun too. So on we go with just a couple more fun slides. And so at the end of the race, there was decision points all along, and you found out what your outcome was, and we had a photo opportunity to say whether you'd survived or not. And I'm sad to say most people did not survive. They expired. So anyway, and there's the start of the kids' fun run, which was really fun. Go ahead, Caitlin. Caitlin ran this.
Yes.
Oh my word, she was amazing. So I think I've already spoken about this. So next year, mark your calendars. Oh, there's some of the kids' activities. Mark your calendars for 2026. It'll be May 23rd of 2026. And then I think we've got one more slide. Oh, no, we're going the wrong way. People dressed up. People dressed up. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. Okay, the last one's my favorite one. Nope, we're almost there. Oh, there's all the prizes. Oh, we have prizes.
Yeah. Do you want me to do this right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep going and I'll
Yes.
get my prizes.
And then there's my favorite one. This little boy just exuded happiness. He won his age bracket 0 to 6, and I think he's 6. And we had toddlers running with their parents, like 18 months old, running, this kids race. I mean, it was amazing. So anyway, Carla's got some swag for you. And here's our winners for the schools. Candy Lane won their division, Gardner won theirs, Oregon City High School won theirs, and it was a weighted. So we took into consideration, everyone's enrollment, and those are 18-year trophies. So they're rolling trophies. So, it's bragging rights on who gets it next time. That's one of our marathoners, Nicole. So she was instrumental in putting it together. And Carla's got some swag for you. And yeah, so please feel free to visit our website, OregonCitySchoolsFoundation.org. See us on Instagram, see us on Facebook. We have a program called $5 Superheroes. Anybody that's willing to give us $5 a month is proclaimed a superhero. You can sign up on our website. You can do payroll deductions through the district. And it helps us fund these programs, and they're super fun. And yeah, we're happy to do them.
Yeah.
So
we have flyers about the foundation, and we have medals. Now, you're going to look at the medals, and you're going to say, oh, Oregon Trail Kids, because we know you're all kids at heart. So keep that in mind. But we do invite you all to participate next year. It's
Yes,
super
please.
fun. I will say, I think we lucked out this last year because the weather, if you saw the photos, it was sunny, dry. There's no guarantee of that. And then Caitlin can attest to this. It actually is a pretty challenging course because we start downtown and you go up the stairs and then run through Oregon City,
they're
up,
the historic
right,
district.
up the hill and come down by the swimming pool and Case. So you're coming down the hill when you're most tired. So just FYI, keep that in mind. Two things I'd like to also say. One, I am super excited about FFA coming. My husband is an FFA alumni, older than you, but he's always asked, why doesn't Oregon City have FFA? And I said, I don't know. So he's going to be super excited. Also, I do want to thank you for your service to the district because think about it. You are dealing with kids who are near and dear to every parent, every guardian in the district. And you also have the responsibility and privilege of dealing with funds, which for most people are also near and dear to their hearts. So thank you for your service. I know it's a sacrifice of love for most of you, but again, thank you, and wear your medals proudly.
Right, and we didn't have 50 of them left over, just so you know. We held some back for you, so.
While they're handing out swag, are there any questions or comments from the board?
I would just say, as I coach my son's O-Bob team, I didn't know he was on your website. That was exciting. And I just want to thank you guys for the help you provide.
You're welcome.
All of the books, it really makes a huge difference, and the kids have a blast. And so I've coached his team now, I guess, the last 2 years, and I'm doing it this year, and they have just a tremendous time. So
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, and Holly, I know we've way exceeded our 8 minutes, so apologies, but.
So colleagues, I would also just like you to know that my first 2 years on the board were Connie's the last 2 years. I think you were chair at least one of those years, so.
I was chair for many years.
Many years. Connie served 8 years on the school board before us, so thank you for your continued service.
Of course. Yeah, we passed the bond in 2018. That was the start, so yes.
And if people did have a request, I know you mentioned the website, is that a way that to get a hold of you? Is it just for school groups, or is it anybody who qualifies for your support?
We mainly focus on, students. We do some community outreach, but it's got to somewhat be impactful.
Sure.
Does that answer?
Yeah, I was just curious, right, like I benefited from being a parent for the grad party.
Oh,
and
sure.
So just kind of curious, like some of the different ways that people could reach out and qualify for some support.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're just info at OCEA, at OregonCitySchoolsFoundation.org. I don't think there's been a request that we haven't honored. or tried to.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're
So-
somewhat vague on what you're asking, because we're not, like, the Optimist Club has a form, right? You email.
Right, yes.
Right.
We're not quite there yet.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
we're
Sounds
open to
good.
discussion for any requests.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank
You're
you.
very, an excellent audience, so I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so up next, we have a new transportation app, our BusRight application. Sabrina's here to tell us all how that's going, and thank you, Sabrina.
Okay, for those who don't know me, I'm Sabrina Beckel. I am the transportation supervisor for the district. We launched the BusRight app this year. We actually, after the approval of the board, of course, you can go to the next one. Okay, so a little bit of the why behind implementing the BusRight app was for safety for not only the students but the drivers. Past practice was navigating through the streets of Oregon City with paper narratives and doing student management with everybody looking at the back of your head. I wanted to take some of that out of the picture and really put it into turn-by-turn directions with voice, really giving our drivers a safer drive so they can get our students to and from school safely. We piloted that program over the summer with summer school programs in ESY. It went very well. I was a little nervous. You have drivers that are used to doing things a certain way for a long time. You get feedback. And one of the feedback that I got from one of my drivers stated that he is extremely electronically challenged, and that typically he has everyone help him with his electronics. But he came in with the biggest smile on his face and said, "This is the easiest thing I've probably ever done." So that was a huge testament for me, and really kicked off our pilot program. We went live fully on the first day of school, 9/2, with BusRight. We've had about 95% positive feedback from parents. You know, I don't expect 100%. We're only 6 days into this. But this has not gone without some challenges. Some of the rollovers haven't gone over so well, or gone through so well. We expected the hiccups, and we're working through all of those things with the school admins, with the parents, with everything. So we're getting there. This week has looked way better than last week, thankfully. So if you want to. Okay, so for those of you that aren't familiar, I went over it a little bit. It is an all-in-one transportation solution. It not only provides turn-by-turn directions for our drivers via a tablet, it also provides a web mapping system for our routers. It is a layered mapping system, so we can go all the way down into the street view and actually pinpoint exactly where that student's going to get picked up. So instead of just looking over a broad map and kind of pinpointing it, you can drag them over and put them on the actual corner itself. This also provides a parent app. The parents get invitations based on the information they have provided in Synergy to our schools. We don't just give out the apps to anyone. They have to be connected to a student. And through that app, once the driver starts their route, the application on the parent's phone gets notified and said that the route is being started. And that will not only give you your student routing information with the approximate pickup time. Once the route is started, it will ping every 2 seconds, letting you know what the driver's estimated time of arrival is. If the driver somehow gets delayed, it will show that to you on your app. We can also push notifications through, so if a driver is beyond 15 minutes late, we can send out a message letting parents know that the driver is running extremely behind, whatever the reason may be, traffic or something of that nature. So we've gotten a little feedback from the drivers. Like I said, the best feedback I can get is this is the easiest thing I've ever done. You turn it on, you can look at all of the routes that have been assigned to you. You press the quick start button and you go. It's just as easy as that. The application will take attendance as well. So in the afternoons when students are getting on the buses, the drivers can toggle over to the student tab and look at their students and toggle them off and on. Be able to learn their names and know who's riding the buses. I got some feedback from my routers, like asking them, because they're in this every day, all summer long. One of the things that one of my routers loves is that you can see the multi-view. You can be able to pull up multiple routes and then find efficiencies in them. So pull up 3 routes and you see some overlaps. Where can we pull it apart or combine it together? So we can have more efficient routes and students on the school buses a little less. And then, of course, some parent feedback. We've gotten a lot of good feedback. They love the visibility of the app. They love being able to see, where their students are at, that they don't have to have their students standing outside for absorbent amounts of times. And I can only imagine it's going to get better when it starts raining outside. They don't want to send their kids out to get soaking wet before the school bus gets there. So, one of the parents said that we don't give our students electronics. So this is a way that I know that my kid's going to be walking through the door in 2 minutes. So, all good feedback in my opinion. We have some of the things where it's not working properly, or maybe the parents didn't get the invitation. You can get the feedback about that, and that's just a matter of getting their students routed and getting that app sent over to them so they can view it. And then lastly, this wouldn't have been all possible without all of you. So really, I want to say thank you for saying yes, because saying yes to this was a step in, providing, putting our students first in my mind. You are not only providing a safer ride for a student to get from home to school, you're improving the communication within the community. And I think that this is a huge jump in the right direction. So thank you again for approving me up. So
Thank you.
that's all I have.
Questions or comments from the board?
It's worked really well. I have a high schooler. Is there a way for him to get the alerts or get on the app? Because he's the one who needs to know.
Yeah, so how you would be able to do that is you would have to share your login information with him.
Okay.
Because that is how the invitation gets sent through the parents. So if you just share your login information with him, he can have it just as much as you do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It's easy.
I just want to encourage everyone to download the app if they haven't already. It's been great. I have a elementary school kiddo who likes to test her independence by not having mom and dad at the bus stop in the morning. So we get the note when she's dropped off, so I know to look out the window in 3 or 4 minutes, and it's really great. So it's good peace of mind for me, and it's really great for my daughter as she's getting older.
You love it.
Yeah.
Good.
I would say the same. It's been really a positive thing. I've heard from parents at the bus stop. It's going really well. So I know there's been little hiccups here and there with folks not knowing how to access it, or little delays here and there, but it's been a really positive experience for our household too. So thank you so much. Thank you. And please
You're
extend a
very
thank you to your team.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all.
Awesome. So we have a communications report, Lisa and Caitlin.
Hello.
Well, hello. It's nice to see you from this angle.
It's a nice change of scenery.
Uh-huh, it is. We are here tonight to provide a communications report. Caitlin I'm here mostly for moral support and backup, but she is really the one sharing with you this evening.
Yeah, so first I'd like to talk a little bit about our communication plan overview. This is something that we've shared before, but just a little reminder for at least our bond. Our opportunity was that we've passed the bond and that we are going to share information about the repairs being made to our aging elementary schools, the expansion of our CTE spaces, and the updates to our fields and grounds. So the three main goals of our communications plan is to celebrate, right? This was awesome and a big win, and we want to celebrate that. And we also want to demonstrate the impact of these projects on our students and their learning. And we also want to build trust with transparent communication on fund spending for our community. We have several channels that we use. Our first and foremost is our Parent Square app, which we use as our official communication with the district. So through that, we mostly target our students, our parents, our staff members, and elected community members. When they elect into the community groups, they can get information through Parent Square, which is mostly our newsletters through that. We have our website and soon to be our mobile app. We just switched platforms to Apogee, so we have a shiny new website, and with that comes a shiny new mobile app where folks can get up-to-date information right there in the palm of their hand. It will also link all of our sites all together in one place, so you can just toggle between, let's say you have a kid at an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school, and you also want to keep up with the bond, you can toggle all of those schools on and have it all in one place. So you can get information and updates right there. And that will be primarily for our families and our community members. It's open for them and prospective families. So people who are looking to move into our district might be interested and download the app if they find it. But it's also our website too. Social media, we use that for celebrations and information. I tend to leave mostly celebratory things on social media. It's a really fun, bite-sized snippet of information. A lot of people are just scrolling, so they don't have the attention span for a lot of information. But we use that to reach our broader community, kind of sharing what some of the student impacts are for the bond, some of the highlights like our groundbreaking celebration, and all of those kinds of things. Again, this is for prospective families, so if they're looking to move into our district, they might check out our social media and see all the wonderful things happening and be like, yes, I want to go there. We also have physical channels, meaning we print out like mailers and distribute them through every mailbox in the Oregon City residents. And then we also have in-person, which is, I kind of pair with physical, but tabling events and community connections, talking to those people face-to-face and sharing that information. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I was going to say the social media pieces, a lot of those are those snippets that Caitlin mentioned, but also helping folks know to be directed back to our website for additional information. Those aren't intended to be the full meal deal. We want them to come back and actually go to our website to look at information. I was trying to read this. Then I tried to look at our screen. They're both small, so I can't even, my eyes, I can't see that very well. So I'm trying.
So here's just a little snapshot from the traffic of our Oregon City Bond website. You'll notice that it goes really, really steep right before the election, right? Which is to be expected. We had a huge ad campaign running. A lot of voters were very interested in learning more about our bond. So that spike is to be expected. And once we voted, it goes really back down. They're like, we got our information, we did our thing, we're done. But you do see a little bump later on, and that's kind of when we started doing some of our work on our fields and grounds. And that was also when our conceptual maps were posted. So folks are really interested in learning more of those details. Most of our traffic is direct traffic, meaning they're literally typing in OC School Bond or clicking on the link to go directly to our bond website. Right after that was visitors from social media, clicking on links from our social media. Here's some of the highlights. So we sent out mailers to 30,929 households in the Oregon City School District. Those are all the zip codes within our district. So that was pretty big. I try to put as much information right into the palm of their hands so they don't even have to go to our website to get that information. And it's a quick read. It looks beautiful. And then they can keep it around their house for a little bit. I feel like that's a little bit more effective than directing people to our website, right? Because they can read it right there. They don't have to click on, they don't have to have a device, and they can get that information right there. Another big hit is our reels. I post occasionally on social media a reel, and we had this one was the, I think it was the elementary design team and the community bond planning committee. Was it the CBOC too? No. Okay, so that was just the elementary design group and the community bond planning committee coming together and looking at those conceptual maps, and that got 1,835 views. And then when we started doing some action, right, so you see that dirt being moved at Oregon City High School, we got a huge hit of 15,708 views with a reach of 8,216. Views and reach are two different things. Reach means that it was shared out beyond what our views were, so we expanded more of that. So again, folks love to see work in action. You can see these are two social media posts and their performance there when things are happening with our bond. Here's a snapshot of our Parent Square post that reached 2,591 parents and staff members through Parent Square. A lot of folks opened it and were interested and read through that one. And then finally, here are some examples of, we have posters up at each of the school sites with a QR code directing it back to the website. And then we have our dedicated bond website, which I have been flooding with live updates and information as we progress. Some of our community connections is what we have done in the past with our bond campaign and what we are going to continue doing. We had a really great reception with that, with the community when we went out with the bond, that we want to continue having those community connections. A lot of folks are inundated with digital media and with our mailboxes, and so having those honest, transparent conversations face to face, I feel like really build that trust and community within our district. And so we plan on attending a lot more events face to face. So there's some examples there of what we hope to do. And then again, future communications and my plans, we're going to have banners at each of the school sites that say, work in progress, here's more information where you can find it. We're hoping to have conceptual posters of maybe what's going to happen at some of those school sites. I haven't run that one past David, so don't get mad at me. We have some event attendance. So if we're going to community events, quarterly bond-focused mailers. Again, we're going to hit all of the district residents. Designated social media account. I just created one for our bond. It's our 2025 bond social media. So it's specific information about our bond. You don't have to dig through all of our district I mean, I love it when you dig through all of our district's highlights and celebrations because you get more than the bond. But if you're just interested in the bond, you can go and follow that one. And that's Facebook and Instagram. And then we will have groundbreaking ceremonies. We already had one at the softball fields, and I did a short little video on that. And then we will continue to have drone footage, videos, and photos on the website. And as always, if you would like to learn more, there's our bond website. Are there any questions?
Fantastic. Board. Ryan?
First, the creative is awesome. I was hoping you're going to share the reel with the squirrel in it. And I thought that one cracked me up. I watched it like 4 times, and it makes me smile every time I'm scrolling and I see it. So
there were 4 from Ryan Pitts. Okay.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, more scrolls. The website's great. The app's pretty cool, too. The tough thing is I keep forgetting about the app, so I need to put that in.
I haven't really quite launched it yet. I'm waiting on translations for Spanish so that I can really push it out in all the languages.
Nope, that's perfect. Where does our community, like, where do you see the most engagement? Is it social? Is it through Parent Square? Like, where are we interacting most with our families?
Parent Square is hard to count interactions. You can see when they've clicked and opened it. And there's a few people utilize the appreciate button, but not everyone does, or I don't even know if most people even know that it exists. But I can see when people have opened it. But does that mean that they've read it? I don't know. Sure. And I don't get the length of time that they've spent on it. So I would say that one's hard to understand the engagement. But I would say social media, we have a high engagement with that, especially when we're pushing things out with action, right? When I post that we have updates, it stays pretty flat, pretty low. But when I post that we're doing work, we get a huge spike in action and engagement.
Go ahead, Rick.
And has there been a survey or a way to gather how people are accessing information? Is that something that's, I'm asking when we were at the library, we did a survey to the district, the library district, and the paper mailers were still the way that the people were getting information about the Oregon City Library.
Sure, that's something I could consider.
So it was just interesting that was something that we decided to spend some of our money on because we had the data to support that. And then second, are there students involved in any of, especially the online part of things?
I would love to have students involved. Yeah. Right now, we're still kind of waiting for things to start happening. So it's that big hurry up and wait. And we're excited. And I think once we start rolling on a lot of this, there will be more opportunities for students to be involved. Yeah.
Ryan?
Are we doing any paid media at the moment, or is that just bond and then it's down the road again, potentially?
Yeah, potentially down the road. We like to be cognizant of how much money we're spending and where, but yeah.
Totally get it. And then is there like a posting schedule? Like, do you post specific things on certain days, or is it just when things happen, flood the zone?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of the times I try and be as timely as I can. So when things happen, I try and get it out there as quick as I can. But usually I try and update every Friday.
Okay, sounds good. And then last one, is there like a posting matrix? So like I know we're on Insta, we're on Facebook. You went through a bunch of the other ones, but like if, for example, if the bond Facebook page posts something, does that also initiate the OCEA School District Facebook page? Or if it's about Gaffney, the Gaffney Lane and their PTO, like, so it's really spreading fast?
Yes. So with our new app, or with our new website platform, the backend makes it super easy for me to do that. I can select where I want to go and how and when, and if it comes down or not. So yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you so much. That was really helpful.
Thanks for making us look good. She does a good job of that.
And next we have our bond update with David.
Well, great. It's good to talk with you again this evening about our bond. The nice thing about going with my reports so late in the agenda is we've heard a whole bunch of information about impacts on the bond throughout each of our meetings. And so whether it be future improvements that we're going to do to our air conditioning in our schools, in our elementary schools. We heard about that from OCEA and from Dr. Spitzer. We heard about our CTE programs this evening and the impacts that we're going to have on CTE programs in the high schools, and then obviously our communications that we just went over, and our plan and push out of information in our bond program. So super excited to continue to talk to you about that. If we could advance that next slide. So as you're aware, we have broken ground. We are finally really starting to move on our projects. So thank you to many of you that were able to attend the groundbreaking. First of many to come. There will be opportunities for all of you to don hard hats and safety vests and shovels and throw some dirt and probably get covered in the dirt depending on where the wind is blowing that day. But it was a great event, good real start on our fields program and the installation of our artificial turf at the 3 fields at the high school. That was the first of our real projects to break ground. We're still waiting on the permits for our concessions and restrooms. That's in with the city right now and is working its way through that process. We should, again, see those permits before the end of the year, but likely will not start that construction until next summer, primarily based on the athletic seasons in the spring and not disrupting what they've got going out there happening. We've ordered the lighting controls and scoreboards for the fields at the high school. Those we're waiting on the schedule from the manufacturers to see when those are coming in to determine whether we can get those in again before the rains hit. Once the rains hit, it gets a little harder to get out with the lifts to do the installations of scoreboards on that wet grass. We don't want to tear up the fields or around the fields as we go into that rainy season. On Pioneer Stadium, we have brought on our CMGC that is helping us do some cost estimating on some of the potential scope at the stadium. We have some, being an old quarry, it has some interesting fill in the ground, and so we're trying to evaluate right now what the impact of trying to stabilize and be able to place a building on top of that fill. There are some real cost implications associated with that, so we're trying to evaluate some different options to really see what is possible. That's why we're still not really talking too much about scope yet, because we still don't really know what the costs are going to be. So now that we have our contractor partners on board, they're really starting to take a look at that. They'll be able to help us out with some of the foundations of what those foundations would need to look like in the ground underneath supporting this building. So we should have some more information on that by the end of September, and hopefully some further direction on where we're going with Pioneer Stadium. We're also really working hard on our cost estimates associated with the elementary schools, the first 3 elementary schools. That is going well. We're expecting those numbers. We have a couple meetings this week and another meeting next week to look at their initial cost estimates on the schematic design phase documents that were produced. This will be the first test of our estimates by really a closer look at the market versus the cost estimates that were done by the cost estimators, who are more paper-driven, not real-world experience estimates. And so we should have a better alignment of where we are with our budgets. As we've talked about, our budgets will change. We created those initial budgets for these projects based on some really preliminary data back in 2024 and early 2025, and now we're getting better refinement. So our budgets will change both up and down. As Director Canchola mentioned, hopefully some of them will go down. We should see savings in some of our projects, and we will certainly have additional money that we will need to push into probably all of our projects ultimately, but we'll see how that develops here this month. Design is continuing even while we're doing cost estimating. We're working on refinements in our design. Big focuses right now are on roof structures and mechanical systems that will support our air conditioning at the elementary schools, and what those systems are going to look like and what those systems are going to cost, as well as the structural needs at each of the schools. And that's really the big focus, because those are the big dollars that are likely going to be involved in these projects. Excuse me. Finally, our CMGCs are starting to put together their logistics plans for each of the school sites. And so we've started meeting. We met with John McLaughlin last week to talk about preliminary looks at what this phasing is going to look like and what the impacts of the school are going to look like. Where are modulars going to go? How are we going to deal with safety for the children that are in the schools while they're at school? How do we continue to provide access to the school for parents? Where do buses go, right? These types of things are really in their initial phase, and we're really, again, we've been working from the bond and the contractor kind of in a vacuum, putting together a basic plan, and now we're starting to test that with the principals. They're really the ones that know the school. They really understand how the kids need to move around in the school and where those real pinch points are going to be. So when we're looking at how do we move kids to the music classroom at John McLaughlin when we've got construction happening all around and the door that they might usually use is going to be right on the edge of the construction site? How do we make sure that the kids can move safely through the schools and through these sites with minimal disruption and be able to get to the location that they need to get to? We're starting to look at modulars at the sites. That primarily is at John McLaughlin. And we've got meetings this week on Holcomb, and then we'll be talking about Candy Lane in the next week or so as well. If you go to the next slide. So as I mentioned on schedule, this is still the same schedule we've been talking about in terms of our anticipation. Turf replacement has been started. We're anticipating that being completed at the start of the sports seasons for baseball and softball in the spring. The JV football field that is used for multi-purpose will also be done at the same time. And then moving into Pioneer Stadium and the remainder of OCHS fields are still likely summer of 2026. And I really say likely at this point. The rest of the OCH fields will go. Pioneer Stadium, it really depends on what we're going to do. And we just are too early in that scope development right now to really determine that. But I think there's still a good likelihood that we can work on that project prior to the start of the athletic season in the fall. But again, really is going to be dependent on scope that we end up landing on with that particular project. We're still on track for phase 2 schools in 2026, starting summer of 2026 and going into 2027. There could be early packages, I think, going out this spring. We have some electrical gear that needs to be moved at almost every one of our elementary schools. We have some space at the high school, the spaces that we're looking at for CTE that are not occupied by students, and so there may be an opportunity to get in there and start in the mid to late spring in some of those sites with some of the work happening. But the bulk of the work will really be targeted starting in the summer of 2026, as we talked about, and we'll run for 2 full summer cycles. So we'll be ready to open those schools, the elementary schools, back up in their full capacity in the fall of 2027, as we've discussed previously. And then finally, in terms of upcoming meetings, you heard from Mike Stead earlier today. We've got meetings coming up again with CTE. We've done some initial meetings with some of the high school teachers in these individual programs, as well as district leadership, CTE leadership, the principals, really looking at what those opportunities are. We're going to be coming back with some basic floor plans, similar to what we did at the elementary schools with the community, and continuing those conversations with CTE leadership and OCHS leadership at the schools. That'll be in later this month and into early October. October and November will be filled with follow-up meetings with our elementary design advisory group that met this summer. We'll be coming back to report out where we've gone with the design, taking their feedback and providing, again, transparent answers to why we are or are not able to do things that they brought to the table. There were lots and lots of ideas that came out of that. No way that we can do all of that work in our schools. So really, this is about an opportunity to make sure we're closing the loop with the community on what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then really getting into the schools. So school staff and students really sharing those designs out at each of the individual elementary schools in phase 2, and then really starting to open up community meetings at the schools, probably during the day and in the evenings, for community members to come in and see what we're planning at their schools. It'll really be that opportunity to showcase our design, show that we're meeting our bond commitments and really gather additional input from all of those stakeholders in this process as we drive to finalize our design and keep moving forward. And then as Greg mentioned earlier on the CBOC, our next CBOC meeting is December 1st. Those have been set out on the first Monday of the month, so it shouldn't conflict with any board meetings. The one we had a couple weeks ago was really trying to get that meeting in before they came to give this presentation tonight. So that's why that one was a little off cycle and was a little more challenging, but that shouldn't conflict with board meetings. So any of you that are interested are certainly welcome to attend any of those meetings, and I would encourage you to do so. That's my report for this evening. Any questions?
Thank you. Questions from the board? Nope. Thank you. Thank you, David. Lastly, we have policy first reads.
Thank you. We can go to the next slide. Just a reminder of why we look at policies and what your role is as board members in policy making. School board policies are statements which set forth the purpose and prescribe, in general terms, the organization and program of a school system. That's from the National School Board Association. The purpose of policy usually falls under these categories. 1, legal compliance. 2, give staff direction and guidance about what is expected. 3, to communicate to various community members. And 4, make a statement or show support. And our policies tonight come from a variety of departments, and so you're going to hear from just about everybody over here about policies.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, board members. I'm Blaze Riggins, Chief Finance Officer for Oregon City School District. I'm going to present a policy update first read to an existing policy. This is our budget committee policy code DBEA under the organization, membership, and terms of office section. Just a small update and addition with one additional line item that reads, at least one member of the budget committee must be a member of the district's educational equity advisory committee. And that brings this policy in alignment with Senate Bill 731. And that is the update to this policy.
Thank you.
The one we've all been waiting for. JFCEB, we actually have a policy, JFCEB, everyone does, but we're going to delete it and get this new one out there. As you know, Governor Kotek signed an executive order. As she is the head of the Oregon Department of Education, her executive orders do become law, and we do have to follow them, just a reminder. And that executive order banned personal electronic devices in schools during the instructional day. So we'll be ready for questions next time as you dig into this and look at it. We've looked at it pretty thoroughly with the principals. And as you probably, hopefully know, we have gone ahead and implemented the ban, and it's going really well so far. I'm seeing not many phones. I know, I'm so proud of the staff and the students. And we've had a lot fewer requests for exceptions than we anticipated. And so we're just really proud of the whole community coming together. And I was able to talk to a teacher last week about just a conversation that they had with their students, their high school students, about why is it good? What are the drawbacks? What's a bummer about it? Yeah, we know it probably is distracting when I have my phone during class. Just really honest, open conversations with the students who really understand that this was a law for all of Oregon. So,
did our policy come into line with what the governor wanted, or are we still not quite as strict?
There are different pieces, in any policy, there's different pieces that you can say, you can choose this part, or you can do this or that. So there were some key pieces. One is we're allowing students to have their phone in their backpack, but not on their person. We're allowing them to have their headphones in their backpack or locker, but not on their person. But we think just some little things like that, it totally falls in line with what's allowed, but it also makes sure that they have it
and so it doesn't feel as much like I had to give my phone away and. Yeah, and you'll notice, and we talked about this a lot at the OSBA conference, but you'll notice that this policy really does stretch beyond what most policies do. It outlines what the discipline is and can't be. It outlines what you do if you need an exception, et cetera. So it's pretty far-reaching, and we're totally in compliance. The policy that we've put in front of you is totally in compliance with what the governor has said, and look forward to your feedback as well. Mm-hmm.
I just want to add real quickly, one of the things I appreciate is that we started off and away during school day last year. So I think that made a big change. And through the work that the high school team had done in collaboration with parents and students before, the number one thing was parents didn't want their kids' cell phones locked up, like just for safety reasons. They were like, we respect the fact that you don't want them on, but I want my student to have it nearby just in case of an emergency or some reason. So I think having that opportunity a year ago to listen to our community has helped us propose the policy in front of you.
It did feel like it was timed very well because we'd already gone through it, so thank you.
Okay, I'm up. So this one is immunization in school sports participation. And this aligns with House Bill 3007, and it passed in 2025, outlining required steps when a concussion occurs, and then it also is going to fix double coding, specifically around double coding on another part of the section. So immunization is a double coding, but the other part is only around the new policy. Okay. Lisa?
Okay, I have Board Policy JOA, which is directory information. And as you can see, this is a required policy that brings us up to compliance with guidelines and laws. It removes a lot of the information that was previously allowable to share and really limits what we can share going forward.
I'm back again. So educational records, records of students with disabilities, and this is updating and aligning with new OARs regarding directory information. And it is really supporting confidentiality. So that's what the main part of it is.
Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing your questions in the work session.
Thank you so much. All right, up next is board member comments. Ryan, do you want to start?
Action.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped action consent. We have our consent agenda. These are routine items that the board has reviewed in advance. So we approve them all together and don't have any discussion. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Chair Wilson, I will motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Beck, will you please pull the board?
Director Blackwell?
Aye.
Director Pitts?
Aye.
Director Cantrell?
Aye.
Director Hopper?
Aye.
Director Stroh?
Aye.
Director White?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. So now for reals, board member comments. Ryan, would you like to start?
Yeah, it's been a really fun first week of school, and thanks for everybody. There's been a lot of expected and unexpected curveballs headed our way, and you all have done a really nice job navigating some of those complex things. And then as we're getting back into school, there's tons of opportunities to volunteer. So I think Dr. Spitzer, Dr. Crane, I can't remember whom mentioned that earlier, but please make sure that we get approved for volunteering. And then most of the schools will start having their PTO meetings this week, and that's a really fun way. And they're particularly important this time of year because it sets the calendar, it sets the fundraising, all the community events they do. So if we knock it out of the park in September, it makes the whole rest of the year go really, really smoothly. So encourage everybody to get out there and have some fun with their PTOs.
Michelle?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I took on a kindergartner this year, so I'm back on the bus routes and doing all that fun stuff. So I'm right there with y'all, watching the bus, waiting as they run. Short story, I've had multiple surgeries the last 3 weeks, and so my volunteering has been doctor ordered to D0. So I did not do much other than one hearing at the commissioners for Oregon City Together. We got a Metro Enhancement Grant to help keep our funding going. But as I continue to heal, I'll hit the ground running starting this week because I think I'm busy every night. So I'll see you at the back to school stuff.
Well, first week of school, welcome back, everybody. Thank you. I have a kindergartner and a fifth grader this year, so we get 1 year with them at the same school, which is really fun. It's been quite a lot this week, though, and as you can probably hear, my son has already, well, both of them have already brought germs home, which was inevitable. So he's got a cold, I've got a cold. It's going to just keep going for months and months. But it's been very exciting to be back at school. Everybody's having a blast, and I'm very excited for what's to come. So, no, it's been good.
My report for back to school for my high school is neutral, which is pretty good compliment for a teenager. I will planning to attend the open house then at the high school this week. We have homecoming, that'll be great at the end of the month. And then here at the college, what is it? October 12th is Indigenous People Day. That'll be in the evening, and that is a wonderful celebration of local tribes and connections to the peoples that were here originally. So I invite you to be part of that.
Well, since in the last 3 days, I've sat behind school buses 4 times, or either in front of or in back of, and just want to remind everyone, when those yellow lights come on, it's time to slow down and be ready to stop. So when the lights are on, please wait until the little stop sign comes down and the lights go off before you continue. And wave at the bus driver, tell them thank you. Anyway, so I was reminded, oh yeah, time to slow down. You can take that however you want to. And then the other thing I'm very excited about is I will be joining, and I'm going to get her name right, Angie Gilbert, who was sitting right there tonight, going to Oregon City Chamber every Wednesday, which is something that I did for nigh on 10 years before I started subbing. So I'm really looking forward to joining her this week. We're going to be up at Sears Gardens, and I think hear about the Bloomin' Boutique. So I'm very excited to be able to bring that part of my life on behalf of the school district. So remember, stop for the buses.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and all the teachers. And we're all happy it's cooler this week.
Yes.
So is my email. So we do read all the emails. Who's ever listening, I read them all. I'm not going to reply to all of them because some of them are a little chain letter, but hey, I do read them. And some of our board members or superintendent answer those. So just want to clear that up. But you guys can choose what you want to do. I'm a busy person. So anyways. I got to go to the Friday night game. Actually, I caught a little bit of the JV game. I'm not going to lie, but the football game at Pioneer Stadium, and all 3 levels, they won all their games, the football team. And in particular, the Grant game was super exciting. I think there was 5 touchdowns thrown. Hats off to Coach Skinner and his staff, very well prepared. It was a fast-paced game, no huddle, just getting after it. But not only to the football team, but to the student body that showed up. And we were, if you haven't been to Marshall, that's where Grant's having their games this year, everybody's on one side. So you kind of get to see the 2 schools. And we had a small contingency of students, and they were way more enthused and excited than the Grant student body. Shout out to Lisa Ramage. Her cheer squad was rocking. They were doing some tumbling stuff. There's a couple guys on this team that can tumble, and they do some pretty amazing stuff. So it's kind of it's not just a football team, it's an event. And Greg and Cody had, we're down there monitoring the kids, and then our school bus drivers chatted with me, and they were super excited about the BusRight and telling me about how that was going, because they grabbed me in the stands and said, hey, we chatted, and I thanked them for driving our cheer squad over there and our football team and all that. So it's quite an event, and I think they're at Mountain View this week. So, and going to get to soccer and some of the other volleyball our other athletic events coming up. So anyways, check out some of the sporting events. Our student body's pretty hyped about some of them. All of them.
Fantastic. Back to school has been great. I would love to thank all of our staff. I'm hearing reports from the third grade that the lunchroom is going really well, so shout out to Nutrition Services. The bus is still super rad. After the bell is going well. And we're very excited for Community Ed Sports, volleyball in particular, to kick off next week. So very excited for all these things, lots of moving and shaking, lots of new system or renewed systems and structure coming back to life. So that is fantastic. So it's been really exciting. Thank you to all of our staff for a great kickoff for our students. We're really grateful for all of you. And Dr. Spitzer, do you have anything you want to add?
I will just say I'm super thankful for our team. It was a bumpy week, and they all came back on Monday. So I was really happy about that. But just thank you to the board for your participation in so many things over the summer and the kickoff. And I just am really appreciative of your service and your commitment to helping us be great for the kids and community we serve. And I want to say hi to Shelley from ACA, who's here. We have partnered with ACA and Springwater and are hosting meals. So over the moon, excited about finally being able to fold them in so that we can serve all of our kids that are at any of our schools, including our charter partners. Yeah, we're excited about that. So thankful that she's still serving here at ACA, and I'm looking forward to a great year. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, so upcoming meetings, September 22nd is our work session. It's also my wedding anniversary. Don't let me forget. October 13th is our regular session, and we are adjourned.
It was in her Friday.